Hey, how y'all doing today? Anybody else been getting a whole bunch of rain all day today? Nothing but rain all day long today. It been off and on, so much so that it is so wet around here in these parts that I'm about to get stuck just driving through the yard itself because it's dropping so much water here. And then I can't do nothing with it. Like everything going down into the ground. Hey, Angel. Yeah, you made it today. And I just really came on just to make sure that I'm starting to get back into the groove of my stuff. And yeah, y'all see I done pull my hair out of the braids and stuff today. And I'm gonna braid it right on back down. um but every now and then you get somebody who can tell you bald headed. And then in between one of those hairdos or whatever where you braid it out, because I guess because I keep it I keep my hair wrapped up all the time or whatever. People be thinking you ain't got no hair or whatever. And I ain't here to prove them right or wrong either way. It's just today I just happen to be in the midst of taking my hair loose. So yes, you all, I do have hair. I'm not bald headed. I'm not bald headed and I'm not lazy because I keep my hair covered up. I just keep my hair covered up because I don't feel like going through all the emotions of taking it loose and putting it back together. Now let me get some braids or something in it. It'll be down. But then it won't be mine on really. Yeah, you have to let it breathe from time to time, but when you come on here all the time and my hair is always covered. Every time I come on here, then people tend to think that you don't have any hair. And right now this is at its biggest stand-up point right here. um I could totally be bald headed. For a year I was keeping my head shaved all the way down to my scalp. My son kept it cut for me for a year before I decided to let it grow back out. But before now I had dreads in my hair that was past my butt. So I ain't worried about no hair, but I got hair, y'all. I'm not bald headed. Not bald headed. And if I was, then kudos to me for being bald headed. Less work I have to do. But anyways, y'all, I just came live just to, say hey to y'all and, keep it going until I get back on my thing of coming on here. Coming back every day. Right now, the garden is moving slow. I can go out there and show it to y'all every single day. So y'all, it could be like watching the paint dry on the wall. You get to see that the plants growing maybe an inch or two every every now and then. And you know what? Anybody who do have Angel, anybody who get dreads in their hair, you can get ready for it. After you take them dreads out, you gonna be tender headed if you wasn't before, because God knows I don't be wanting to comb this hair. And you can see I'm all natural. So, it ain't that bad when I have it wet, when I wash it and condition it and everything, it ain't that bad to comb it out or whatever. But trying to work with this hair every single day, and I love my hair, but ain't nobody into getting up and combing it. You ain't want to get your hair done when you was a little kid, when you get popped upside the head with the comb and stuff. You ain't want to do it then. I ain't excited about doing it now. I'm fine and dandy with putting me 2 or 3 black braids going down, one on this side, one in the middle, and one on this side. If I don't have my little plaits be flying everywhere, I'm fine and dandy with that. And get up and put me on a head rag during the daytime. I love head wraps, so that's just my thing. So, um, but yeah, I could be out there and I can show y'all the plants that when I see them every day, that they only growing, little bit by little bit, but they still growing out. I don't mind showing it to y'all. But today our yard is so soggy. Literally, I was stepping through part of the yard and just whole shoe went down up under the mulch and everything, just covered. So out here, you don't even know where you walking, and it looked like it's regular ground there, and actually there's water sitting there. So it really has been dumping some rain. The plants have grown a little bit because all this rain that is dropping. Of course, the plants gonna do their little stretch today. But I think instead of showing y'all the plants today, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow and then I'll show y'all what they look like tomorrow. So then tomorrow, then y'all will actually be able to see, wow, they really They really doing their thing, you know. If I give it a day in between, and then I can just come and talk to y'all on the other days in between that. But um, yeah, we trying to get everything. And today I was moving stuff around, and I was like, I don't got no tomato seeds. And today I moved something over to the side, and guess what's sitting there? A pack of tomato seeds. Honey, I couldn't even wait. I ran with the quickness and scooped me up some dirt and put it right in that little bowl, and I planted every last one of them. I'm just gonna wait for them. But the other day I cut up a tomato and I took seeds from out of it, and I planted them in another bin. So hopefully, if all of the seeds that I planted between 3 days ago and today, we might have us somewhere along the line about 40 to 50 tomato plants. Now, what we gonna do with all those, I don't know, because I ain't ready to go back and make the garden back in the back that big yet. But we definitely gonna stretch it out, and we gonna do something with it. I just don't know how big I want to go right now. And I told y'all when and if, well, not if, when I get the back tilled up one more time. I told y'all that I completely want to do that with sunflower seeds, and I really want to see that. I just don't know how good they're gonna do, because if I plant them now, they need at least, I think it's say 75 days. So if I planted them sometime next week, the September, October, November, and with this Florida weather, some days it be hot and some days it's not. So yeah, it's a little iffy. I don't know if I can get them to grow really big like we saw them when we used to be out in the garden and stuff every day. But I think I still am going to try it. I told y'all I'm like the daredevil when it come down to what time of the year you gonna plant stuff. I don't never follow the directions, but I really want to see that a big massive amount of sunflower seeds planted. I just want to see the sunflowers. They so pretty. And everybody that was in with me when I had those sunflowers planted, they know that was a pretty sight to walk into and sit in front of those sunflowers every day. So that's what we trying to get back to. But and today has been like one of those days where I just been off to myself, thinking to myself. So y'all also know what those kind of days mean over here on this side. So um but do I feel like I have been feeling when I go to those places where I tell y'all like it's like isolation or whatever? No, I don't feel the same. I don't feel the same way as that. I don't feel like I'm mad or anything like that. I just feel like I'm in a quiet place with my own thoughts. And that's just it. No, and I'm fine. I'm fine and dandy with it. What I've been going through a lot of the times is I can say something to someone and they can know that I'm telling the truth, but it's like I don't know. It's like I feel like I be surrounded by people that if I tell the truth, they have to say something else to make me out of a liar. Not that they making me out of a liar. I'm just saying it doesn't matter what I say or what I do. It's either trying to make me out of a liar or either spin the story, if you understand what I mean, to make it seem like you're the one that messed up, not me. I don't know. I just feel like these days, it's just that it's like that's the season I've been in. But then again, when I think about it, it ain't about a season that I'm in. I feel like it's been like this my whole life. That's where I started from. When you starting from the beginning and there all these people seeing all this stuff happening to you and you see it happening to you, but all of them saying it ain't happening to you, and I'm just a little old bitty kid. And how you stand up to a grown up that's telling you something, you know it happened, but you're only 5, 6 years old. You can't go head to head with a grown up that's telling you that you can't say nothing to nobody or it didn't happen or whatever. After a while, you know that it happened, but you just got to go along with the lie and say that it didn't happen along with them too. So, and it's just like it ain't the same thing, but it's like it on a different level. It's like different. You know that what they say, when you go to different levels, you got new devils that come around. It is just like that. So, and I don't know if any of y'all experiencing people who y'all be around, and it don't matter how many truths you can tell, they're gonna always tell you that you telling a lie, or it always gonna make it seem like if you told the truth, you did something wrong. So at this point, I don't even be looking for nobody nobody to be on my team. I just like, I'm on a limb out there all by myself. And not that I'm gonna change my mind or anything. It's just that if I know I'm telling you the truth, and I'm learning to stop saying my truth, because it ain't about my truth, and it ain't my truth. It is actually the truth. Have I lied before? Absolutely, I can. If somebody called me out on a lie, that I've lied about, or I've said something back in the days when I was a kid, I used to make up a whole lot of stuff, but it wasn't like malicious stuff. It was stuff like, say, like you go over to somebody's house and they got a special place in your heart. You always with, and especially coming through what I came through. Sorry, y'all. Came through what I came through. I'm saying, like, say you go over to somebody's house, but they treat you well there at their house. And then say if you have somebody come over to visit, but they're more like your age or whatever. So when they come over, I remember as a little kid, like my godparents had like a ceiling that had like these little flakes or something in it that I would say that is like a glitter or something, like glitter. They had it mixed in with whatever they put on their ceiling or whatever. So one time I had some friends over to my godparents' house. They weren't friends; they was actually relatives of them, but they were people who I was in. Well, when they came there, just because I seen them little shiny flakes or whatever in the ceiling, I told them that they was real diamonds. But I mean, who gonna beat me up because of that? I was like a little kid. Those are like things like I used to exaggerate those kinds of things, but it was, to me, it was like, looking back at it now, it's like a turn of like you want the people that are good to you to look better than, not better than what they is. You just want them to look good at all things. So as a kid, like I would say little stuff like that, but I'm saying, okay, this is another thing that happened. One time, my dad, and back in the days, $250 was quite a bit of money back when I was like 14 years old or whatever. But anyways, one of my relatives was like, let me hold your money and we'll go to the store shopping. And I really wanted to go shopping with her. I'm 14 years old. You know, I don't know much of anything about anything. Just know I'm glad she gonna take me shopping. My mama taking too long to do it. So let's go. And we went to Walmart. This was when Walmart first came here. We go to the Walmart, and I let her, as a child, we taught to lie from our parents. You know what? I'm gonna wait on that. Let me keep on going with what I'm going. I'm gonna come back to that, Angel. But we went to that Walmart, and I was so excited to go with this relatives, because she was somebody who I looked at, even though I looked at with illusions. That's what I'll say. I looked at her with illusions. I thought like she was somebody who I had a lot of fun with or whatever, but it was all inappropriate things I shouldn't have been doing at the age that I was, hanging out in places where I shouldn't hang out with. But I thought she was a cool person for allowing me to go to those different places with her. But anyways, we go to this Walmart. I give her all the money that my dad gave to me, which was $250. We go in the Walmart. Now, I don't know anything about anything. I'm just in the store. Now, I don't know anything about this, and I'm 14 at the time. We're in this store. And not until we get to the register that I really find out what's going on. So we in the store, and my auntie telling me, well, okay, now that I said, I ain't say my relative no more. I said my auntie, so it is an auntie of mine. We in the store, and she telling me to pick out all of the stuff that I want or whatever. So I went through and I picked out everything that I want. I loved everything that I had. We get to the register. The person at the register is ringing up. But before we go to the register, she is like, you know, you go over there or whatever, go look at some other stuff or whatever. You know, I'm not paying attention to her because it's her and some other friends or whatever, and they doing whatever they doing. I don't really know what they doing. Come to find out, when we get up to the register, what they did was, back then they used to do, I guess they used to use like stickers or something like that to go on your clothes tag. So what they was doing was taking stickers off of clearance things and putting the stickers onto things that wasn't really clearance or whatever, changing the price tag, right? So we get up to the register, those people rang up these things, and all of this stuff is like, we got like 300 and some dollars worth of stuff. But when we get up to the register, this stuff rings up to 80 something dollars. That's it, right? So my auntie pulls out the money, get ready to that. But the next thing you know is some other people come up there to the register, and then they was like, well, we can't give you this, this, and this, or whatever. But anyways, however it wound up, we ended up walking out of that store, no, without any of the clothes. And I actually think she had to pay for something, but for whatever reason, I ended up not having or getting any school clothes. I don't know what had happened, but I think what she did was she may have spent some of the money. Hey, Brown Eyes, how you doing tonight? She may have spent the money and only had a certain amount of money, so that they were in there switching up the tags or whatever. But whenever she went up to the register to pay for the stuff, the money was not there. And when it all came down to it, my auntie went back to my mama and told my mama that it was something that I did. And she just asked me to remain quiet, don't say nothing, because we gonna work it out and she gonna get me some school clothes. Another lie that was told to me that I believe, and I had to stand next to that and watch it happen again, and kept faith in her that she was gonna get me some school clothes some kind of way. It never did happen. I didn't get him in school clothes. I was scared to tell my daddy that what had happened or whatever with that situation. So now, and I'm gonna say, as a child, we're taught to lie from our parents. Now, I'm gonna tell you, there are certain things like, and you absolutely right. You taught to lie in several. It can be several different ways that you can be taught to lie. Now, this one of the ways, and we used to get in trouble a lot about telling lies, but you actually taught to tell lies. You actually are. And some parents don't do it intentionally, but it do happen. So I'm gonna give you another instance, and I made a short about this right here. Parents will tell you, don't lie, don't tell lies, but then you will get somebody knock on the door, and those same parents will be the one to send their kid to the door to tell whoever knocking on the door, tell them that I ain't home. And then you will turn around and still try and tell a kid, don't tell a lie. But you telling them to go to the door and tell the person that's knocking on the door that you ain't there. That's one way a parent can teach their child to lie. But then, on the other side, they'll still be kicking you to sleep for telling them to lie, and they still teaching you how to lie, no matter what. Another thing is, this is not necessarily teaching you how to lie, but in my opinion, it still is a form of lying. When I grew up, things was happening to me. And you'll be sitting in the corner knowing that you feeling the way that you feeling, and you're in this corner because of what just happened to you. But you also sitting over there and you getting that eye that let you know you better not say nothing, or you gonna get in trouble if you do say something. That's another way parents teach their kids how to lie. Now, you have to put it into context, and it's all different kinds of reasons. But I'm telling you, off of the reasons that I grew up and was learned, and no matter how much I learned how to lie when I was a kid, and after a while, it didn't even need to be taught no more, because after you move in that way for a certain amount of time, you will continue to move in that way until you find out that it's not the best way for you to move, which is actually what I did. But Angel, that's a big way of how it starts is them teaching us how to tell a lie. Now I can understand, when they say, and this is another thing why I always hated that saying. What was the saying? Girls are meant to be seen and not heard. I can't tell you how many times that line right there messed me up a lot of times. You're right. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. It ain't necessarily like you full blown on teaching them how to lie. It's lying by omission or not being able to actually say like what it is. So there be things that happen to you, but I think a lot of things. Okay, so let's just go down to the real what we talking about. When you inappropriately touched as a child, right? Um, and especially if it's by a family member. I think a lot of the reasons why they didn't want us to keep it quiet because let me say why they didn't want us. Let me say why I feel like they wanted us to keep quiet, because I feel like they was embarrassed for other people to know like that kind of stuff was happening in your family. But I don't think they knew that if you hide it and you try to pretend like it didn't happen, then the monster gets to grow. I don't think like they knew that part. So it's just like you see a lot of people covering up all these different things, but it's still hush hush and nobody don't want you to say anything about it. They didn't want everybody in their business. They didn't want everybody in their business, but this is one of those things that I call it that's everybody's business right there. And the thing is just think about it. When you grow up that way and they don't want you to tell because it's a family member or something. And I'm learning this by my own situation, right? That very thing happened to us. Nobody ain't want nobody to say nothing as we were kids, and it was happening inside of our home. But because nobody wasn't able to say nothing, why we finding out these many years later, because I'm talking about something very recent, I'm finding out that the same people that I was required not to speak or say anything about, it wasn't only me that they touched. And the family think like they doing something because they jump on or they beat this person up. Unbeknownst to me that this person been beat up 2 times by the family twice. And ain't nothing happened and ain't nobody did nothing different. Well, hell, if you don't beat his ass one time, then the second time ain't gonna work either. It ain't do the job. So it's like, are you gonna report it or not? And that's me thinking in my adult mind. Thinking in my adult mind now, looking back on the things that happened in my childhood. And I think it can feel like after a while that you got like there's a walking target on your back, because after a while it starts to feel like you got a name tag that's named on you. She been touched before. You free to touch her because ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it. And me looking back at it as an adult, if I can go back and count 7 people that did it to me before the age of 12, 7 people that did that to me before the age of 12, and not one of them only did it one time. Every single one of them was several times, except for the one person that kidnapped me. And all of them felt comfortable with doing it. And so for me, I always said, I don't know if this is a good thing that I rather for if you're looking to I just feel like this is not a secret like you keep from somebody. And I always say to people, and it would stop people from coming to tell me about their situation. But I'm not a person that, if it was reported to me or said to me that somebody was touched, I'm not going. If you're looking for somebody to sit and be quiet in a situation, I couldn't. I wouldn't be that person. It does not allow me to sleep at nighttime, and I've actually had to walk this out this year alone. I done tried to go to sleep with somebody telling me that a kid was getting touched. I wasn't able to do it. I called CPS and I made that phone call and I stood on everything that I said and I did. In this situation, I don't think that this is a thing where, like, if a friend come and tell you that this is happening to them, and this is something that I say to younger girls, everybody may not agree with it. I don't think that that's a, and I would say to any young girl, a girl that's 14, 15, 16 years old, she got a best friend that's talking to her that something like that is happening to her or whatever. Friend, I think that's one of those times that your friend may get mad at you and may not like you for going to tell that secret, but that's not the secret that you want to hold, because not only does that secret not help the person who's telling it to you, but it also doesn't help you, because later on in life there's like this guilt until you find out, well, I wasn't old enough to really do anything about it, so I just listen to what they say. But later on in life, you'll be wishing that you went and said that, once you start to find out that all the things that happen. And I mean, there is no end on the things that you mentally, physically, emotionally go through when you've been inappropriately touched when you're a kid. And it doesn't just last through your kids years. This is something that you deal with wait until your adult years. I'm still dealing with it right now. Um, and it causes a lot of different issues. So that's why I always say, knowing how my whole process went and everything, I I haven't met anybody that I've advised to them that they know something like that to hold it as a secret. I just don't think it's a good secret to keep. I don't think the monster should be getting away with it. And I don't think anybody should have to live their life that way. So, but if you know something, don't hold on to it. Tell it. Um, the thing is just some of my situations. People knew it was happening. They was beating up the person that was doing it, but they weren't coming back having no conversations with me. So, as a little girl, it made me very scared to tell on any of the other six people that was doing it, because as a child you can see somebody doing that to you, but it doesn't register to you that it's something wrong. You just know that they telling you you ain't supposed to tell nobody, so you don't tell it. And actually, just because they doing that to you doesn't mean that they're being mean to you or they're doing stuff to you that hurts you. It doesn't mean that they doing anything to you that hurts you at all. I always say, parents, when you talk to your kids about that, don't say nothing about if somebody touch you down there or hurt you, or no, none of that. Don't use the word hurt. Do not use the word hurt, because everything that comes along with that does not hurt. That's why you don't want to use the word hurt. It can be very weird and off-putting or whatever, but don't use the word hurt. um and another thing was when they were saying that when your parent, when they say they don't want everybody in their business, they one of those other sayings was, what go on in this house stay in this house. Now there's some people who like that, who love that saying. I don't care nothing about it. I hate it. I hate that saying. I hate that saying with a passion, because it seems like if you was able to go and talk to some of these people about some of these things that be going on in your house. And I feel like there are some parents that use that sentence, and they use it because they know they doing shit that they shouldn't be doing behind the scenes, and they don't want nobody to tell it. That's how I feel about it. So, but that's another hate. That's another saying that I hate. What goes on in this house stays in the house. Yes, I do believe that there is some things that should stay inside of your house, but The things I'm saying this based off of the way that I grew up and what was being said to me. What go on in this house, stay on in this house. And I'm telling you that all the things that was happening there in that house was all situations that I should have been screaming to the top of my lungs and telling people that this stuff was happening to you. And I'm not, if you're one of those people that be saying these things to your kids, I'm not bashing you. Not bashing you at all. Maybe you say those things for a different reason. I got my reasons for saying that I don't want it to happen. You know, I actually don't use those things is that I don't even tell my kids they ain't allowed to tell something. If they telling the truth, then they telling the truth about whatever it is they said. Now, has it been some things where I look at them and be like, you don't go and say, you don't be going to say all of that to somebody or whatever, but nothing like you trying to protect yourself because you done bust one of them upside the head or something like that, but you trying to cover your behind because and you don't want to get in trouble behind the situation. So I find in my situation, I find that's where that saying come from, that they say things like that because they already know they done overstep bounds and they out of line, so they don't want you to call and tell nobody. See, me when I was raising my kids during the time, like well, not when I was raising my kids, I'm still raising kids right now. I still got 3 to go. I'm like that one. You call whoever you want to call. Call whoever you want to call. If they can come here and do a better job than me, you know, bring them on. But saying to them, what go on in this house stays in this house. No, I just don't use that. Hey, Miss Coffee, how you doing? You know, I'm just in here running my mouth trying to get my little time in for the day and trying to you know, stay consistent. But you know, I just those are just some of the things that I don't like, and I'm still seeing like some of the evidence of it. It don't matter. I can make a video and I can record what a person just did, and I can tell you that a lot of people that I've been around and stuff, you can play the video and then they'll still say to you, I ain't do it that way, I ain't mean it that way, or this and this, and it's just like I'm surrounded by that. And I'm so sick and tired of hearing. I can't argue about it no more. No, none of that. I'm just going to see it and I'm going to dismiss myself. I'm not going to even argue about it because I feel like it makes me crazier or feel crazy when I'm trying to argue with somebody that I'm trying to tell you about what I just seen. And then if you tell them about something you just seen, they start talking about some shit that happened 2 or 3 weeks ago and all of that stuff. Yeah, no. And I told y'all I'm trying to get better with cussing, but every now and then I do throw a cuss word out there and I'm going to say what I feel like I want to say and how I want to say it, because once I get off of here and I done said it to y'all in a different way, I still be feeling the energy of it. And when I start talking about stuff like that, yeah, like what I'm talking about right now, it comes along with a certain energy, especially when you've been fighting it for a very long time. So I feel like I need to get that energy up off of me, even if it comes with a cuss word. The Lord gonna forgive me for it. You know, and y'all pray for me until I get there. Some men will threaten to unalive your mother and yourself if you take. Now, Angel, that story, the story that I told y'all about me being kidnapped, I keep going back to that because, you know, once you tell a story like that, you telling the story, but I'm telling it from the way that I visualize it. But now, then comes after that, and especially when you're an adult now. Now I'm going over that again, and maybe I should do a live about this one night and just, you know, just to go down like all of the different, like, you know, like to pick something apart. Now I want to know, what was my mama thinking? What was she thinking? What was she thinking? Somebody literally took me, didn't ask her anything, took me away, did whatever they wanted to do, brought me back home, dropped me off. And to me, and this is another thing, this is a missing part of it, I don't know if my mama said anything did anything. I'm telling you what I saw with my own eyes. I never seen the two of them have no conversation. I remember getting out of the car with him, walking up to my mama, and her grabbing me by the arm and saying, "Where have you been? I've been looking for you everywhere. Where have you been?" And I just turn around and say to her, "Well, I went to the store with him." She snatched me up by my arm, dragged me up the stairs, and I went in the house and I got a whooping. That's what I remember. Now, I would love to know because, again, I was only 5, 6 years old when that happened. I would just love to know. And listen, I've been talking to like my mama's friends, family members, and everything because I'm very interested in knowing. Do any of y'all know about this stuff happening? Then what was my mama thinking, or what was she saying during the time when this stuff was happening? Like, I want to know because I didn't see anything. And when you're a product of this happening to you, it don't be times that it don't go through your mind that what if this happened to one of my kids? If you've been in that situation, it's been a time. If you got kids, it's gonna be a time when you think about what if. And so you done already made up this plan in the back of my mind. I believe that something happened to my mama. When I say I be going down the line of everything that happened, I really be going down the line like that and like trying to think of stuff. I'm one of those people that I go back and I dig into our family history. I take screenshots of it. I pay for the ancestry thing, and I just go back and dig into it. I done dug back into it so much, and then once I dig in so much, I start getting anxiety because I'm overloaded with information. So I'm just thinking about all of this stuff that done happened and everything, and just wondering to myself, what was my mama's story? But then I don't have her here, and then you still have people that come from back in those times that still believe in that thing. What happened in this house stays in this house. They don't even want to talk to you or say anything to you about any of the stuff that went on. That they just as secretive with it as it was back then. And so, but those are all things like I be wanting answers to, like, what did she do? What did she say to somebody? How did she feel about it? Because me as an adult now, to me, it feels like I got all of the backlash from being kidnapped. That's what it feels like to me. So having those questions in my mind would be great if I had a relative or one of my mom's friends or something that came and said, "Well, during that time, yeah, your mama did talk to me about that right there, or she felt this way." Um, to me, it just kind of feel like nobody cared. That's what it feel like. So, and I don't know why I stick. It's like this one, because this is somebody outside of our family that kidnapped me. But it's like the one that was happening inside of the house, which happened more than the other stuff. But that one situation sticks out to me more than any of the other situations. And also too, this guy that kidnapped me is the same guy that I told y'all he showed up to my mama. He showed up to my mama's funeral because he married to my auntie's best friend. So he had the nerve to show up to my mama's funeral. Not only did he show up to the funeral, but he showed up to my mama's house after. Everybody got their little place that they go to after the funeral be over with or whatever. He showed up there too. And actually came and gave me a hug. And maybe that's why it ain't that easy to get past that part of it. So, I don't know. Parents, don't teach your kids. Teach your kids to lie. Hey, Ben Stinker, don't teach your kids to lie. It ain't no good thing. And then you teaching them to lie, and then you telling them not to lie at the same time. It's like you talking out of both sides of your mouth. So you better pick a struggle. Either Tell them they can lie when it's beneficial for them, or tell them don't lie. You know, you got to pick a struggle. You can't be on both sides of it. Or at least if you're going to tell your kid to tell a lie, have a conversation with them later on to tell them why you told them to say the things that they said. Because I actually do find that there is sometimes, because you don't never know what situation that you may be in, that you may have to say something that's not actually a truth or whatever. But if you're gonna tell your kid and chastise them about telling lies and everything, then make sure you ain't the one that teaching them how to lie. And I guess that's what our conversation for the day was about. If you gonna teach your kid, tell your kid don't be no liar, then don't teach them how to lie. Thanks, Angel. Because Angel the one came in the chat and said that. But y'all know, look at here. I came on here to say hello to y'all and just think I got 550 things that's on my mind that I consciously choose to not come on and say a whole lot about it. And I think we all have things that we pick and choose that we go through on a day-to-day basis, and I think it's called choosing your battles. um Me, honestly, I'm tired of fighting, point blank, period. Whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, I'm tired. I'm tired of fighting. So you know so I'm picking my battles right now. And I'm not pretending like the battles are not there. I'm just choosing. And this is what I'll say. I'm choosing to fight them differently because I'm really taking that thing serious. The reset and the restart. And if you reset and restart something, you don't do it the same way over again that you did it 500 other times, because obviously what you done did the 500 other times, it ain't worked for you yet. So you don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting you're going to get a different result. So this time I'm trying to do something different. I can hear and let it fly. I don't want to argue about it. No, nothing. I don't even want to talk about it because I done talked about it 550 times. I just want to be quiet and walk away and let you and God deal with it together on y'all quiet time. That's what I want to do. Hey, Tasha Speaks. How you doing tonight? My predator overdosed before I could do what I was plotting to do for you. So, Angel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think everybody that done been down this line, there is a plot on the inside of your head. If I didn't think YouTube would shut my channel down, and I could literally tell you, and and I know anybody that ever been through this stuff. I don't know anybody that has ever been through this that you didn't have a plot inside of your head. And I can tell you those plots can get very, 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 very deep. Cause Angel, I'm telling you, I done created a whole plot. And I could tell you a little bit about the plot that I had made up in my head, but I ran into this guy's wife one day inside of the store. And I didn't actually know that after I done moved from Vero Beach to Orlando, they also moved here to Orlando at the same time. They lived close, about 30 minutes from where I live at. And I ran into his wife in the store one day. And remember I said his wife and my auntie are best friends, have been since they were in like junior high or something, right? But his wife doesn't know what happened back then. This was before or during the time when they was dating as young kids, whatever. But I seen them in the store and she hadn't seen me in a long time or whatever. And I didn't know she had a kid from him or no nothing. The last time I seen her, she didn't have no kids or no nothing. She was one of them ones that was 30 years old and ain't had no kids. She waited late to have kids. So I see her this one day and this little girl walk up to her in the store and now she got a daughter. And then I know who she's married to. Instantly, when I find out that she got a kid, my stomach is destroyed inside of that store because I'm thinking now she's sitting here telling me that this is her daughter, and all I'm doing is looking at this little girl, and I'm wondering in my mind, Did he do any of the things to his daughter that he did to me? And at that moment, I didn't have I had done already went through my thing of where they came to my mama's funeral and everything. I had done went through all of that stuff, moved past that and everything, and now I'm dealing with another thing because now I done ran into her and she has a child that now I'm scared he may be touching on her. So what she did was say to me that she think we should get together. She think we should get together and do something on the weekend. And see, I can still smile, but this is not that smile. What you just seen is not a good smile because there's a lot of evil intent behind that smile. And those of y'all who know, you know. When she said that to me, oh, you know that little smile that comes on your face, and I'm just like, that's all I need is for her to deliver her husband to me. Deliver him to me. At the time, I had seven or either eight kids at the time. And in my mind, I had visualized that where we have this get together, I done visualized where everybody was gonna be sitting at, what everybody was gonna be doing. And all I needed to do was catch him staring at one of my kids in the wrong way. And that would have given me enough energy to do what I wanted to do. So what it would have eventually ended up being, it would have been a premeditation of what I was thinking I wanted to do to him. So yeah, there's a plot that I done went through in my mind, and what I won't do is share is what the plot of what I had thought in my mind, but I had already figured it out in my mind of like what I want to do. And it's just something that you go through, and kudos to those that make it out of that thought process where you don't actually go through with what you're thinking about doing. Kudos to you for making out of there, because what I feel about that situation is, yes, you can go and try and get vengeance for it, but you'll end up paying in the way that the person should have been paying and not you. So kudos to you for making it past that point that you didn't have to do anything or you didn't follow through with that, because vengeance is not yours. Bad as I want it. Bad as I want it. I can't even say that if I came face to face with him today, because I got some thoughts in my mind right now. I even thought about, I dream of the day. I wish we can go back and have a repeat of him giving me a hug at my mama house on that day, because I can tell you, I don't know if I'll do anything bad, but it'll go a little different than what it was, because see, right now, I understand the power that I walk in, regardless of the tears that you see and everything. I understand the power that I walk in, and it will go a little different. Cause see, what he did on that day was he broke me down on that day, because after that, after he hugged me, I called myself every name and every stupid bitch it was in the book and said to myself, you let him do that to you again. But see, now in my adult mind, I would love for him to approach me and try to hug me again. I would love it, because this is how I envisioned it would go, and I would take my power back from him. I would gladly, when he reached his arm out with that fake hug that he gave me, because the time when he gave me that hug, I know he felt everything and he remembered everything that he had done to me. And the hesitation of his hug, he hesitated because he knew what he had done. And he thought maybe, I don't think she remembered. But no, I remember. And it would go in my mind right now, the way I envision it is he would come and offer me that hug. And I wouldn't turn that hug down. Somebody would probably say, girl, that's crazy as hell. I wouldn't turn that hug down. I wouldn't. I'm telling you, I want that hug. I want that hug right now today. Because though my plot is not what I've thought of before, I know how I can take my power back. And the way I vision that going now is he would reach for me to give me that hug, and I would absolutely lean into him, and I would give him that hug back. But I absolutely won't turn him loose. I will not turn him loose. I'm going to hold on to him and I'm going to give him the hug that he wanted. And then I'm going to lean into his ear and I'm going to say, you think I forgot about what you did to me? I remember everything you did. And meantime, when he gave me a hug, it was one of those quick lean-ins where you do that little tap like this right here where it's fake. Y'all know what kind of hug I'm talking about. I wouldn't let him go. I would suck every piece of his energy out of his body with the things I would be whispering in his ear. And when I turn him loose, he will be a pale white color because I will have sucked all of my energy that he took from me, all of my power back from him. So in that way, I'm wishing that I cross his path again so I can take my power back that I feel like I gave to him in the first beginning. And had I known the things that I know now, for those of you who think that somebody inappropriately touched you when you were a little kid and you think they walking around with their mind free and clear right now, the devil is a liar. If you don't know by now, just as much as turmoil that you have been in and all the pain and the stresses that you have been through, you can't tell me that they ain't thought of one time that they done thought about what they done to you and what would happen when they cross your path. See, on that day he gave me that hug, I didn't pay attention. I didn't really pay attention. But the more and more I go back to it and pay attention to it, is that on that day, what I can go back and see is he was more uncomfortable than I was on that day. But I couldn't see it. I didn't have eyes to see it. But I see it now. And I'm just here wanting to encourage somebody. They didn't win. All you doing is you in a process of learning how to get your power back and not let the devil win on the way to getting your power back. So, and I think I'm going to have to go back and find out how I even got to this point right here, but it comes out when it's supposed to come out. So, we are here, and Angels Fire, you got to be one of them that done experience some of that for you to even dig down and to be able to pick the words out that I'm getting that I want to say or that is there, and I just can't find it to say it right at that moment. But you pulled that one out right there. I am so sorry you're subjected to these horrific things, Tashawn. Thank you, Binge Thinker. For a long time, sometimes there's a block of it, like you block that stuff out and this stuff comes back. In the least times you think that they'll come back, because shoot, for a long time I thought I was good. I thought I was straight. All it takes for you to do is lay down one night and close your eyes, and that was the thing that brought me to YouTube. There was moments that I couldn't ignore it anymore. It was keeping me up at nighttime. So and it's been a long time since any of them cost me any of my sleep. And I already had said to y'all, if and one of them come up in and cost me 1 ounce of sleep, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna be singing it to the top of the mountains. I'm not losing anything else because of them anymore. Not at all. They already won a whole lot. 46 years. Well, it wasn't happening when I was a little bitty baby. I don't guess. But The oldest one I can remember is right when I was 5, and it happened to me until up until I was 15, 16 years old. So, um, take your power back. Take your power back. I just and if YouTube ain't helped me do anything else, it's helped me get through those times when I didn't feel like I had no other place to like run. There's not a lot of people, not because they don't want to hear what you say, but they just ain't equipped or they don't know what to do with the things that you're telling them. So scream it wherever you gotta scream it at. Tell whoever you need to tell, you feel you need to tell. Um don't keep it a secret. It's not your secret to hold anyways. Um and the people who did it to you, they get to skate by for one more day, thinking or pretending like you forgot what you actually did, what they actually did to you. So don't hold their secrets for them. They don't save them. They don't want to be saved. But y'all, I appreciate y'all. I done been on here for almost an hour, and I didn't even plan to be on here for an hour. I guess tomorrow we'll go back to the garden. We gonna be wherever we gonna be tomorrow. I'm tired of coming on here and saying where we might be tomorrow and the next day. We gonna let tomorrow take care of tomorrow, because I could be back on here later on tonight. But I appreciate y'all for coming through where we are, and come and sit with Life with Tashana, where over here we are the high class gardeners, and that just means regardless of what we doing, Life with Tashana is like a box of chocolate. You get what you get, whatever you want. You close your eyes and you reach into the box, that's what you're gonna get for the day. We're not on no one particular thing. It's like whatever conversations we get into over here, we into that. But one of the main things we talk about all the time is consistently growing some food out there in your garden, out there in your yard. I talked to y'all recently about I walked away from a half an acre of food that I had planted, and it all went down. When I came back, I took me a little time, and I'm slowly but surely getting it back together. But when I let all of that stuff go, I have fruit and other things growing here in my yard. I got eggs that my chickens lay. I got chickens and all of that stuff. Just make sure when whatever happens or whatever is happening in this world, that you are prepared for you and your family to be able to take care of you all in whichever way that is. And that's what we more so, if we don't talk about anything else, we talk about the preparations of staying ready and getting yourself together, and like what things that we can do to get us to a better place to be prepared for the things that are coming, because none of us really know what is actually coming. But ain't nothing like being ready whenever you can't walk in that store and they saying to you, we can't accept your credit card because the credit card machine's down and all of that dear stuff. You are prepared at all times. Right now, I don't have a whole bunch of I don't have a whole bunch of anything. I don't know what y'all's on been like, but I got almost $1,000 light bill. So I'm struggling a little bit. $1,000 light bill, struggling a little bit, but it doesn't matter where the struggle is, honey. I got me a coupon that came in the mail the other day at Ace Hardware. And every time they give me a $5 coupon or a $10 coupon or something, I'm always thinking of what can I do with this right here to help me get better prepared. I still got 3 or 4 propane tanks that can be exchanged or filled. I'm gonna take Ace $5, $10, and I'm gonna get right on back to him and go get one of my tanks filled. Those little things. You got oak wood somewhere in your yard, maybe laying down. It's an old tree down fell or whatever. Go and put it in a pile so that if something happened, you can put that oak wood together and probably cook your food over the top of it. Make sure you keep your pile of little dry wood. It don't have to be a whole bunch of it. You ain't gonna have cell phones ain't gonna be working like they supposed to. They already trying it with us now. I know some of y'all experiencing these little games that they playing with our cell phones and everything. Get you some walkie talkies and all that stuff. But anyways, those are the kind of things that we stay on top of. We touch on every now and then, but mostly we stay on top of. Go out there and plant your own food so you can trust your own self, and not this stuff that they having at the grocery store where they talking about you can pick the chickens up with magnets and all of that stuff. You have to go out there and test your own stuff out or whatever. But see, I don't have to trust in all of that stuff because we the high class gardeners over here. We believe in growing our own stuff. And the other thing that go along with it is whatever we growing, we believe in growing with the things that we have growing in our yard. So that you can see the process that you're going through manifesting through the plants and the fruit that you harvesting from your tree. So they said, be careful of the seeds that you plant. Cause you gonna have to harvest whatever it is you planting. So that's what we about over here. So the people can control everything: plumbing, electricity, cell towers. That's why I like talking about prepping. Absolutely, being stinker. Absolutely. And I'm telling you, anybody, it doesn't matter what conversation I'm having over here. Y'all get a thought in your mind, something that you can do to talk about preparation. Write it in the chat. You may throw it off for a minute or two, but we'll come back to it. But if that means somebody could be in here that need to hear about getting prepared for it. We had somebody else in here the other day. They was talking about canning. I ain't really into canning, and I heard they ain't really the best person to be talking to about it. But I'm also willing to like learn from any of those people. I just don't want the drama that can possibly come along with any of that. I want to be in a situation where we learning from each other and getting prepared for what's to come. And then what if something do come, we can still be able to speak to each other and bounce off of each other of like what we can do. There's leaves and stuff in each other yards and stuff that we don't even know that we can survive off of those things. Why? Because we ain't never did no research and stuff on it to know like what it is that we should or could be doing it. But that's one of my next things that I want to learn how to do is can. I want to learn how to can. And my favorite thing, even what the person was talking about, they talking about canning tomatoes. I love canned tomatoes. If you go and look at on my pantry shelf right now, I got more canned tomatoes than anything else. I grow them and everything. I don't have any growing right now, but I've never canned tomatoes. Y'all seen, now I go out there and harvest my tomatoes from off the thing. I can have a whole strainer full of them. I don't know how to can them. Now I will put some on the boil and throw them in the freezer, and I can do that. I can load my freezer up with all the things that's out in my garden. But then what happens when you run out of that space in your deep freezer? And this is the other thing, you may be freezing things, but freezing and canning is two whole different things. Because see, with prepping, you can lose power in everything. If you can it, then you don't have to worry about it being refrigerated. And that way you win all the way around. You don't need no electricity. You don't need some ice to keep it cold because and look at that. Tasha Speaks said something that dehydrators also, if you haven't talked about it yet. Thank you, Tasha. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See, that's another way you can dehydrate stuff. See, I hadn't even thought about that. And see, I was even growing sweet peas and stuff on time. See, I could have dehydrated them, but what I did with them is I froze them. So, but I want to get away from, I want to learn how to can my collard greens and stuff, because I get the collard greens. And usually when I pick my greens, I always do them by the Ziploc bag for clean them and cut them up and, store them away. I want to learn how to can them, all that stuff, because it only take one time for a storm or something to come through. And then what? You can be wiped out. I've also been put in that situation before. I done had a deep freezer full of food. And I think it was Hurricane Andrew that came through. Wiped out the power. We didn't have power for almost 2 weeks. So then what? We were set up. We didn't have no electricity. We had a generator, but it was different things that we had to run the generator off of. We also had a baby that was on the jaundice at the time and was being ran. They had to be up under the bilirubin light, so we had to use the generator and stuff to keep that kind of stuff rolling. So after a while, that deep freezer only hold up for such amount of time. we had to put our little set up out there on the driveway, and we started cooking for everybody in the neighborhood. The food didn't go to waste, so it it worked out. And then guess what? With us doing that, we didn't know how it was going to work out. But then they did the thing where FEMA started going around and questioning everybody about what they lost. I cooked everything in my deep freezer. It was full from the top to the bottom. We were just cooking lunch, dinner, breakfast for everybody out in the neighborhood, and everybody was bringing their stuff because they didn't have all the stuff they need to cook it. But then guess what happened? You did all of that stuff and then turned around and FEMA gave me, well, I don't know about the rest of them, but they ended up giving me $1,600 in food stamps. To replace the food that in my opinion, I really didn't lose it. I was able to feed the people with it, but they gave me $1,600. But anyways, y'all, I just told a testimony and everything. But y'all stay getting yourself together and prepare and help each one teach one. We all help each other to learn how to keep those kind of things going. And if you're interested in that right there, then come over here and hang out with Shauna. You know that my name is Tashana, but they call me Shauna over here, whatever. They call me chicken poo and everything. Wanna know why they call me chicken poo? Because that's what I use to fertilize everything in my yard. Chicken poo. But all right, y'all. I done did my hour and some. And it was a pleasant hour to hang out with y'all. But continue to get you all selves together. And I would love for you to come through and tell me how you did such and such X, Y, and Z and whatever, and help me with some things. I really appreciate Tasha throwing that extra thing. Tasha Speaks to throw the hydrator thing in there because I hadn't even thought about that right there. But that's a good one. For those of y'all who like that, and over here, the high class garden thing. Why we high class? Because we don't mess around with no bugs, snakes, and worms. Now, Shauna, how you a gardener and don't mess around with none of that stuff? You heard what I said. I don't mess around with none of that stuff in the garden, and I don't mess around with those kind of people in real life. If you're a snake, I don't want no parts of you. If you're a worm, I don't want you. And if you're a bugaboo, I don't want no parts of you. Period. So if you're interested in being a high class gardener, then come on over here and till some soil with us. Until next time, see y'all later. Love y'all.